So you're coming out of one of your biggest months, right?
Yeah,
This past month.
for sure, for sure.
So let's highlight that. Let's look at it. In a single month, right? You said like in 32 days,
Mm-hmm.
you closed so many deals,
Mm-hmm.
which basically replaced the income that you used to make at your old job
Correct,
in an entire year, right? In 12 months.
correct.
What's up, guys? We are live with Investor Syndicate, where we empower investors with the tools that they need to win. We got my man Quan in-house today.
What's up, bro?
Quan is my brother, local here in Columbia, man.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And he's had an incredible journey from even coming up inside of sports, college scholarships for baseball, right? And then getting into the corporate world working for FedEx. And it's pretty incredible to see where he's come, found the investment vehicle of wholesaling, right? And then you've literally had to jump in full force to replace the income that you were making at FedEx, right?
Right.
Yeah, welcome on board, bro.
First and foremost, man, I want to shout you out. Thank you for all that you've done for me. Previous deals we've done before, you've been a man of your word. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to allow me to come on your podcast.
Bro, 100%. We've been talking about it for a minute.
Yeah, for a minute. We had to get it going first, man. Got to have a testimony to tell before I can give it.
Yeah, straight up, man. Well, let's dive in deep, man. I want to talk about you coming up, right, because you grew up in a smaller town, right? Avid sports player, avid athlete. Let's talk about where it all started, man.
Well, honestly, man, I grew up in a small town, Darlington, South Carolina, about an hour away from here. Pretty crazy lifestyle how I grew up, but just a long story short, I grew up, I have to find out who my father was at just 18 years old. So, just to reflect, my life has just been, I've been grateful to have multiple people in my life as well, but, mentally, and it does something to you to find out who your father is at 18. But, I was lucky to get into sports. Baseball and football were my main two sports I excelled at. Had a baseball scholarship to play JUCO. I actually went on to JUCO and played 2 years there at USC Sumter, then went on to USCB. And man, I actually had my daughter during the time of USCB on a scholarship as well, and came across YouTube. An old buddy of mine from back home referred me to wholesaling, and at the time I was just worried about I really thought I was going to make it to the league, because I went NAIA for baseball, going into my second school. So just that thought of just thinking, oh man, I'm not going pro anymore. I just knew my time was limited, so I had to figure something out. I got a daughter. I got my bills in school still. It's just overwhelming. So he introduced YouTube to me, wholesaling real estate, and ever since then, man, I kind of took it and studied it and finished school along with it. So here I am now.
That's incredible, man. So in the process, right, you're playing ball. All your sights were set on that, right? You were focused, like from a child growing up, you invested every hour outside of school and practicing, honing in your craft, right? And just have it all taken away like that.
Yep. So
take something out of you, right?
It does something to you. It actually gives you that extra drive and push to, if I could do one thing in sports, I can do it in another field or adventure.
Yeah.
So I kind of took that mindset and I worked on my skill. I crafted wholesaling real estate for those years. I had to a year and a half I had to finish school. I just crafted, until I was ready to step out there, and here I am.
Yeah. Let's talk about the first couple deals.
Okay.
Like, what was it like? How did you find the first deal? How did the progression of that? How'd the conversation with the seller go? Like, highlight that. What it was like. How you found it.
Well, to lead up to the first deal, during COVID, 2020, it actually got bad that year. I was still in school as well. I believe that May we got released. No, March, I believe. Maybe it was March. We got released. Baseball season was over. It actually wasn't over. They just ended it there, and they sent us home due to COVID. So I kind of looked at it as a sign, because I'm like, I didn't get to finish my senior year, and they actually gave me another year to redshirt. So they give me an extra year due to COVID. I had a decision to either go back that following fall, or I knew in my heart I wanted to do real estate, and I told myself I'll move to Columbia and get started. So I actually did that, during the summer of 2020. I was actually working FedEx as well, so I became full time over the summer. Over the summer, during full time, I actually was still driving for dollars. Looking up, trying to get my first deal, man. Just hungry, man. Just can't, just wouldn't give up. As time goes, I end up getting a house. I was sending out text messages. I actually caught COVID. That month of trying to get a deal as well. It was August.
Dang.
It was all. I actually got my full-time job at FedEx. August. No, it was March. It was April, and after April, 2 months later, I actually got my first deal. And I actually had COVID while I was getting my first deal.
Dang.
So I was actually in the bed just sending out text messages, and a guy said he'd consider an offer, and I actually made an offer, and I actually conversated the whole time with him through text messages.
That's crazy.
And the only time I met him was to show the buyers, and then that was it.
That's what's up, man.
So
how did that feel, like in that season? Were you nervous?
I was, because I was like, my first deal, I could make 5 figures, but a lot of people always say you can't count the money until it's in your hands. And that's what I was doing. So I was getting kind of nervous, like didn't know what to do. So I actually knew it was a good deal. I actually left a lot of money on the table. I knew it was a good deal. I was just so anxious. I actually asked for help. So I actually reached out, ended up JVing with the guy, and he ended up selling it to one of his buddies, and we actually missed out on like probably 15 grand.
Yeah.
So, lessons learned there as you go in progress. But yeah, first deal.
When did we link up?
Actually, it was my second deal.
Yeah.
That September, that was my first deal. That's actually when it's closed. I actually had a deal out. I got on the contract in January. We linked up around January, February. Had a deal, and we actually, closed on it.
Was that was the one that Kirby linked up with you, right?
Yep,
She's like, hey, I'd love to connect and get it going. She just facilitated it. We could have never met if it wasn't for that, right?
Never met. That was it right there. Start of a great friendship.
That's
business.
incredible. Yeah.
So yeah, that was those journey. Then during that journey, I also had a full-time job, as mentioned. I was working. I was a manager for this contractor, at FedEx, and I pretty much busted my tail for him, in his business, and just didn't realize I was burning out. And then
you're making good money though, right?
Yeah,
in that season?
Making good money. I got the time to do real estate, but I couldn't show him that I was doing real estate at the same time. Reason is, after I closed my first deal, I was so happy I started showing them, and you can kind of sense the energy people give off on you when you show them someone you're working for that you're doing something outside of their business. So it went like that.
You knew from that moment the tide had shifted, right?
Yep.
From that moment on, you didn't know when it was going to happen, but there's going to have to be a change. Eventually, I'm going to have to jump ship.
Yeah, that's right.
So from the time that you brought that to his desk, right, you guys had the conversation. You're excited about it. So like, hey, I'm winning. Like, this is big, right? And in the back of his heart, he's like, man, it's only a matter of time.
A matter of time.
So how long from that initial conversation until the time that you actually had to jump ship? And what did that look like? How did it happen that you ended up leaving your corporate job?
After we did that deal together in February, that next month, March, I actually closed the biggest wholesale deal I ever did. And me, too happy, man. He always asked, how's business going? How's business going? I never was, I never would not tell him how is it going. Yeah, it's going good. And I showed him that check. His eyes lit up, and from that moment, I knew, like, I pretty much had to tell him, like, hey, soon I'm going to focus on this, but I'm going to keep this as long as possible. I will give you a heads up. That was the initial conversation. And he was willing to help me out, and, we conversated about it and what was best for me and his business. And, things progress, and, he actually started working me more and harder where I didn't have the time to kind of do real estate. So here it is, March. I closed the deal. I haven't closed the deal since September of 2021, actually. The next year, 2021, that's right. September. I finally closed another deal. And on my mirror, I just want to get off topic for a minute. On my mirror, I do affirmations, and I always write things down what I want.
Yeah.
And that beginning of the year, I had a goal to not be at FedEx by peak season of 2021.
So and right before summer, huh? Like springtime.
Yep. Near Christmas. It's near Christmas time. Peak season where they're constantly working. So I had it on my mirror that I wasn't going to be there anymore. And just a coincidence, October, he came to me one morning. I was coming in there, and he actually set me to the side and said he was going to demote me. And I was just totally out of the blue. I wasn't expecting that or anything. And I asked him why. He really wouldn't give me an explanation. It was either you was taking business calls while you was on my route. You wasn't focused. You was focused on my business and not your business. You wasn't focused on my business and just your business. So I'm just going to demote you down, and I can handle it myself.
Dang.
So
that was his hint. Like that was the door starting to open where you're like, it's all or nothing.
That's it. And he actually expected me to react in a negative way. I actually was like, I was trying to understand, like, okay. So I just couldn't process it at first. I was like, okay, I understand. It's your business. I can't get mad. You built your own table. I can't get mad. So I took that in, and, a day later, I couldn't take it. I was just wanting to know the real reason, man. I just know the real reason. And he never would kind of tell me. He was like, you want to know the real reason? You're not $70,000 in credit card debt. Just going into what he's going through his business to, advocate that he had to let me go. So, I was like, well, I'm not going to sugarcoat telling your employees who I was managing that the reason I'm going to tell them the truth. You let me go because the reason I was not focused on your business. So he didn't like that. He said, oh, yeah, well, I don't have a job for you anymore. And then, I shook his hand like a man and walked out and never looked back ever since.
So what was that like? Just like that conversation happened, right? And then boom. Mm-hmm. You don't have the consistent income, at least that you could count on, right? Now you gotta you eat what you kill.
Yep.
Right? You gotta go out there and hunt. So what was the date when that happened?
October 14th.
Yeah.
2021.
So October until even into 2022, mm-hmm. right? There was a season where it was dry, right? Winter months. Yeah. Winter was slower on our side too, bro. Like across the board, it just slowed down, bro.
It did.
So, was there times that you started to question your calling, question the journey?
I didn't, because right away, a week after I lost that job, I got a contract on a house. So I just knew. I was like, yeah, this is it. I got it inspected. Everything's going smooth. Here comes September around. We're getting the closing date set. November comes around. I'm sorry. Getting the closing date set. Just a few pushbacks. Still getting pushback. Title issues. Getting pushback. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
Then I had to solve a problem with the seller, with the brother somewhere in Alaska. Had to get him on the phone after they haven't been speaking for 6 years, and just solving problems as we do as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, the bigger the problem, the bigger the check. And I'm just thinking like, I'm not worried about FedEx anymore. Come December, the deal still haven't closed, so I'm thinking like, oh man, Christmas coming up, I'm gonna be okay. Just kept in the faith, and a little bit of income I did have saved. I was just living off of that and faith and prayer, man. And so, come 2 weeks before Christmas, the deal never closed. The seller in Alaska ended up backing out, didn't want to sell. So, man, I was really going into a dark space,
Yeah.
but mentally I started praying more and doing a lot of different things to try to help me stay up, man. And that was really the darkest moment, that where I questioned myself, and my back was against the wall. I had Christmas coming up, rent coming up the week after. I had to. And speaking of December, I actually contracted 7 properties at the time. So, man, I had contracts, but I had no money. So it was getting low. I was just, that was the time to question my faith.
Yeah. So let's dive deep there, right? Because as entrepreneurs, man, it can be a lonely road, right? Like it's a roller coaster of ups
It is.
and downs. One day you're freaking at the top of the mountain, bro. Closing, big check comes through, right? And the next month it's dry, crickets, and all the money that you're pouring into marketing, that you're using inside of your business, right? You start to question the journey.
All right.
So in those moments of desolation, right, where you're just, again, like you said, my back's against the wall. I don't know what to do. What do you do to dive in the deep where you can really grasp yourself, get a hold of your calling, and figure out, the reason that you even started in the first place? Like, do you have a mindset, morning routine? You've talked about affirmations. Like, what are the tools that you use inside of your headspace in order to make sure that you're battle ready?
So, I would say I started getting up early around 5-6 o'clock. Started like meditating. That was one of the things that helped me. I used to always catch headaches during this time as well. When I lost my job, I used to always catch headaches and wonder, maybe it's just I'm hungry, and blood pressure. It was blood pressure. I went to the doctor. Blood
You're
pressure
stressed.
was high.
You're worried.
And I started praying. More. I keep speaking big on prayer because desire backed by faith knows no such thing as it's possible. So you got to make it happen. And I started reading Think and Grow Rich.
Yep.
So that book really helped me. I just finished it this morning. I read it over a monthly thing, because most people like to get in a book and read the whole thing and then go take action.
Yeah.
I read Think and Grow Rich and started implementing the strategies in there. Started meditating, started saying positive things, how much money I wanted to make, what exactly I wanted to do. And that quote, desire backed by faith knows no such thing as impossible, came out of that book. And man, ever since then, man, that book has changed my life. It's
incredible, huh? It's one of my favorite books too.
Yeah, really.
Or the quote, what the mind can conceive, the body will believe.
Yep.
Right? So it's like the thoughts, the ideas that you have inside of your mind, right? The internal beliefs that we have. If you believe something in your heart, it's already yours. It's already possible, right? But you have to believe it.
Yep.
You have that little sense of doubt, bro, and it's pushing that energy and the opportunities away from you,
That's
right?
true.
And once you understand that, bro, like once you believe in yourself,
you just kind of walk with a different swagger. It's just something about you. You just chest start poking out a little bit. You just have that confidence. So yeah, man, it's been a journey, and I still got a long way to go.
I'll do, bro.
And during this time, I don't really, we as fathers and stuff, we're, my daughter doesn't go to daycare or anything. So during this time, I did have her full time. So while I was trying to get deals, I took on an appointment, and she actually helped me get an appointment.
Yeah.
So
that's dope.
So yeah, she actually goes to school this year, so I have much more time in a few months. So
bro, hats off to you, man,
appreciate
for standing
you,
in the gap and being there for your family.
Most definitely.
That's where it starts, bro. Starts in the house, right? My wife will even tell me, like, when we're not okay, nothing else in the world or in our life is okay, right? But just standing in the gap, bro, and being there for your people, that's number one.
For sure.
Even before this business, right?
Yep. That's for sure.
Understanding
And
that.
I think time before when I was chasing this thing in real estate, it never would come because I wasn't in it for a why or a purpose. I was just in it like, oh, I'm gonna get some money, I'm gonna do this. But I started realizing like, what's the real reason once you get the money? What are you gonna do with it? Like, why are you going out driving for dollars and hustling like you are? You know, I had to get a why. My daughter, my family. You know, I don't know nobody in my family who's doing real estate. Hats off. I got to say I'm the first to do it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you know, that's one of the reasons, man.
So you're coming out of one of your biggest months, right?
Yeah.
This past month.
For sure.
So let's highlight that. Let's look at it. In a single month, right? You said like in 32 days, you closed so many deals, which basically replaced the income that you used to make at your old job.
Correct.
In an entire year, right? In 12 months.
Correct.
What did that look like?
Numbers wise,
Yeah.
I was making like 46K working as a manager at FedEx. Get paid every week 800, 850. This yesterday I just closed on another deal, and it just put me over 42, close to 43K.
That's huge.
And you know, that's counting everything I did with JV partners as well. But in my mind, I'm like, hey, I made that as well. So
you did.
You know, it's probably a little higher. You know, I'm just trying not to get trigger happy and just, hey, look at that and dwell on that. So I just try to keep it going. I know it's an average around 43, 44.
Yeah.
And I have a closer next week, so that just put me over it.
That's dope. So with it, I know like people will flash their checks and stuff like that, right? And for the outside people that are looking in, they'll be like, they're bragging about this and that, right? But you need to learn to celebrate the wins, right? Like you got to, because if you're not celebrating the wins along the journey, we're missing the entire mark, right? And yes, it might seem like it's boastful, but that check or that testimony itself shows somebody else that this is real.
It's possible,
right? That it's possible, and if you can do it, so can they.
Pretty much,
right?
I try to come in. I try to stay humble, but coming from where I come from, it's good to inspire people like my age and you know everything, and just get people to do something totally different than working a 9 to 5 or just doing something that doesn't align with their purpose or taking care of their family, and changing the generation as well.
100%, bro.
So
starts with you, bro. I think we're always looking for a shortcut, right? It's like, well, what if this? What if that? Maybe my family or maybe my buddy or this other investor or this new program can give me the tools and help me dig my way out, right?
Right.
Which the information is there, right? It's all over the place. It's inside of the networks, your relationships, interwoven inside of something that's already right there in front of you.
It's right there in front of us.
But you just got to believe in yourself, and you got to step above whatever hurdles you're putting inside of your mind, bro. Because it's a mental game, dude. The battle lives in your head.
It is. And once you overcome that, you look at life totally different.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may call you weird or you're outside of the norm. I think as entrepreneurs, we relate to each other in a way because we think outside the box.
Yeah.
We believe in ourselves. You have to believe in yourself if you're an entrepreneur. And that's one thing I do believe in. You got to have that confidence.
Yeah. I love it, bro.
Sure.
Confidence in the journey, right?
Oh, yeah.
And just trusting it, trusting the process.
Yep, trust the process.
It's gonna get hard, and it'll get hard again.
Yep.
Right? You're making more money, well, there's more overhead, right?
Yep.
And like Biggie said, more money, more problems, right? But you got bigger obstacles, bigger mountains to climb, dude.
Yep.
And it's an upward trek, dude. And just falling in love with that journey.
Yeah, I love the journey, man. I love it.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate you coming in today and sharing your story, bro.
No problem, bro. No problem.
It's inspiring, man.
Appreciate
it impacts
you, man.
people.
I didn't know how to start it off.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you happened to do this out the blue because I really was wanting to do it.
Yeah. 100%, bro.
I was just like putting it together. I was doing TikToks and stuff. I was like, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'll just go do a podcast with Ben one day.
That's it.
It just so happened I hit you up. I was like, look at the coincidence.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, keep going, bro. That's my word for this month is just keep going, keep going, keep going.
For sure. That's my motto I live by. Keep going.
That's what's up, man. Killing it.
Appreciate you.